Okay, good. Zoom in. It's that ever fun little beginning starting out. All this stuff I have to do that the settings aren't quite right, but we'll get there. And move this over there and move this over here. Hi, everybody. We're live. Look who's here with us. Hello, Brian.
Hello, John. Hello, plugin guru users.
The family. Awesome. Let me get all the images set and all this. It's like housekeeping I have to do each time.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to have this open. We want to have this up and running. And you're nicely set up right there. I'm supposed to have my webcam off. Let me see what's going on here. It says perfect streaming, but let me see. Camera, screen, 2D. Let's go over here. Yeah, we've got, and move this over there. Okay, that's working. We're live on YouTube. So it says. Hi, guys. Yay. All right, everything's flowing like it's supposed to. I think. Let me make sure audio sounds okay. So it says. Hi, guys. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, welcome, everybody. My name's John Skippy Limcool. Happy to have you with us. On the screen, you see Brian Clevenger. Hello, Brian. Oh, my audio just went weird again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I've had this problem. This might make the webcam go away. I have this crispy sound of audio. Guys, do you hear crispy audio? I hear, oh, well, now it's fixed. So, no, we're not talking about being excited about VST support for Reason 9.5. That's funny. Lovely audio. Okay, we have happy customers with lovely audio. That's what we want. All right, so let's see here. Let me get the customer queues up so we're ready for those. So thank you for joining us. A little bit of housekeeping work. If you don't have this library, I'm going to put the link into the chat so that you can download it. If you have Absynth 5, you should go download this. That is the patches that in a few minutes here, Brian and myself are going to start dissecting that we have. Dissecting? I never say that quite right, huh? We've created for this live stream. It's something I don't think anybody's ever done before, where somebody's released a library of free sounds that you can download, install into a plugin, and then follow along with us when we look at these to figure out exactly what exactly did you do to make this. Such a cool groove. So we're going to explore these, and it's called MindMelt because if your brain is not melting a little bit by the end of this, congratulations. I think mine will be, because there's some fun stuff. I've gone through a little bit, Brian, and looked at what you've done, and you crazy, man, you crazy. So I tell you, okay, so this is created by my website, pluginguru.com. So you need to come to this website if you can, please. And if you have the need for inspiring new synthesizer patches, I'm your guy. And if you go to the Absynth 5 page, it's on sale right now because this live stream is going on. So this weekend you can get this power pack, which has a whole bunch of patches. I think it's 180 some patches for $29. After this interview with Brian, we're also going to be looking at, do I have it here yet? I don't have it here yet. But we have a new library we just released for Rob Poppins' Blue 2. And it's 96 patches by Kid Anthem and myself. And it's $21.25. We've got the really cool player, so you can hear the library this way. To play with sounds, to hear it before you pick it up. So that's all good. So thank you for your support for that. I appreciate it. And at the end of all this stuff, if there's time remaining, we will also look at the library we're working on for Omnisphere 2 for May, which is called Percussa, and it's percussive grooves inside of Omnisphere, which is something you're not supposed to do and not supposed to be able to do, but you can load samples and it has an arpeggiator, so you can do that. And I want to show you real quickly before we get into this. Casey Baldwin is doing some patches for this library, and he met with Airwave, Laurent Verones. They are in Florida together right now. They were Laurent is DJing in Florida, and Casey was there to just hang out. And they're both making patches for this library as well as myself. And so it's crazy what we're coming up with. It's really exciting. So stay tuned. We'll explore that stuff later too as well. But let's get into Absynth. That's why we're here, and that's why everybody's excited. Thank you guys for everybody's saying Absynth 5 Power Pack is great. Please do more. Yeah, okay. It takes a lot of work. I'll tell you, this is one of those synths that I started working on, and I didn't get the performance sliders done when I made the patches, and I had to go back and put the sliders in. And that's a lot of work.
I've been doing the past couple of days.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to go in and have to, like, it's one of these things that's kind of like one at a time. And once you assign something to one of these sliders, in some cases, it breaks it in the patch, so you have to go back and now move the slider to match where it's supposed to be to make the patch be what you wanted it to be originally again. So, but that happened, you know. Small detail. So how are you, Brian? Let's just get up to date. We haven't talked in a long time since that interview where I talked over the top of you all the time, so I'm not supposed to do that this time. Where do you live? Give us a little background.
I live in France.
Lovely.
I live about an hour south of Paris.
Lovely.
Been in France a really long time.
Yes. So you speak French, of course.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
You would not survive at this point if you didn't.
I don't think so. You can't live in France without speaking French.
Yeah.
There's some places you can get by with English only, but you can't do that in France.
Yeah. Yeah. They won't go for that. They'd be like, no, you speak my language, please. You know. Awesome. Well, just I think there's a lot of people that know you because they know Absynth 5. Well, they can't really hear you. Okay, I have to use my speakers. We had a little bit of a challenge getting the audio to work. So I will turn this up more. Hi, everybody that's joining. I'm going to turn my microphone down because I'm about to start feeding back. So give us a brief history of where you just what you've done. I mean, a lot of people might know you from Absynth, but they don't know you as who you are, you know? So I thought it might be nice to...
That's my claim to fame. So I don't know what else they would know me for.
Yes.
Prior to Absynth, I worked for about 10 years in Paris with an experimental music ensemble, and I was making like max patches for them and managing their samplers and synths and stuff. And it was a combination of like orchestral instruments and electronic stuff.
Yeah, we're getting crackling in your audio all of a sudden.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, it was happening to me a little bit, and then it went away. I think it's just the bandwidth.
Yeah, I hear it real. Dude.
I love technology. I will figure this all out at some point, guys. I promise. By like live stream number 200, I'll figure it out.
I don't know if it's. Sounds like something's at the wrong sampling rate.
Yeah. I changed my sampling rate in Logic to 48 kilohertz. And
that might be it, because I think I'm at 44.
Are you?
Yeah. I'll try setting it to 48.
Okay.
And we'll see if it blows up.
It might blow up. He left a call. Let's get him to come back. Artzoid. I will ask him that. Let me get him back here. We're gonna call. Let's see. I gotta figure this out. This is driving me crazy that we have these audio issues all the time. There. So I restarted my audio here. Let's get Brian back. Turn that off and see if he shows up. Uh-huh.
Hello.
There you are.
Okay, does it crackle?
No, it sounds good right now.
Okay, I set things to 48.
Yeah.
48K. And now it's back at 44.1K for some reason.
Well, it's okay. I think I can reset my audio here, and it might reset for everybody too, because when I reset the audio in Logic, it fixed it. So I'm hoping that's something we can do intermittently if it I've had this problem when I'm doing a live stream, or not a live stream, but a webcam, and some plugins, and sometimes it calls a lot of DSP and it messes up clock with the web screen. So that just, we're getting closer to being able to do this, but I'm there's got to be another way to do this, so I'll figure it out. But all right, so you're in France. You did some experimental things before a long time ago, because Absynth's been out for 18 years.
17.
17. Yeah.
Came out in 2000.
Yeah. It's amazing. Amazing to think it's been out that long, huh?
Amazing how long it's been.
I know. So what was this is the very, very early days of plugins when Absynth first came out. It was one of the first instruments, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was right at a time when I think people were starting to be aware of it as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few, they weren't even plugins so much. It was mostly standalone synths and stuff.
Right.
I mean, the first one I ever saw was a Super Collider.
Right.
And I'd been playing with that for a while, and then it occurred to me, I can make my own sounds, I had a lot of ideas, and so I taught myself programming, and
wow.
It took about 3 years to develop the first version of Absynth. And and then I released it just at the right time, I think, because people were starting to be aware of the possibility of doing synthesis in real time with the computer.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that really worked very well yet. There was Reactor on PC.
Right.
And actually it came out on Mac just before.
Well, they had Dynamo that way back in the day. It used to be the series of a whole bunch of different plugins kind of in a Reactor format. I had that for a long time before it became the whole Complete and all that stuff.
Right.
And then they contacted you and said, hey, we would like to have Absynth live with native instruments, right?
There were actually a few people contacting me. I won't say who.
Yeah.
I felt like me and I were on the same width,
Yeah.
I had confidence in what they were, that we could work together.
Yeah. And it's been a really good relationship. I mean, as far as I can tell, you keep developing new things. You're still basically the developer of the plugin at this point?
Yeah, I am.
So you get to keep learning new things and applying new things. Can we ask you, I don't know if you know, but is there a future version of Absynth in the works?
I can't answer that question. Maybe I should make it clear I'm not here today to announce.
Right. Right. No, we're here to play with Absynth 5, but
people were asking me that before.
Yeah.
I'm just, because you invited me, it doesn't have anything to do with product release or anything like that.
Right.
Um, so, I'm not the person who can announce things,
Right.
and
It's up to them. But there's still development, and it's not over as far as we
I'm
can tell.
working on stuff every day. I'm doing research every day.
Yeah.
Basically. I'm
Awesome.
always doing something new.
Yes. Never stop, right? um, where do you think sound will go in the future, technology-wise? What is there that we haven't explored yet in synthesis for sound?
Kind of a big question, and I think for a lot of developers, we get this feeling that everything's been done already. That we've reached the point that every synthesis technique has been more or less perfected and implemented, and people have access to everything. And it's kind of depressing to think about things that way.
Yeah.
But the way I'm thinking of it is more like, what kind of sounds can you not make with the synthesizer today?
Yeah.
Not thinking so much in terms of techniques, but more like, um, um, I don't know, sounds that aren't necessarily like instrumental sounds, not necessarily classic electronic sounds, sounds from the real world.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, like a dog barking. I wouldn't know how to create a sound like that. It's
Right.
not necessarily a very interesting sound, but there's just so many sounds that we can't make with
Yeah.
synthesizers today.
Right.
And it would be interesting to be able to do that. So that's kind of the idea that's guiding me.
My audio's breaking up. So let me try this reset one more time that I did a minute
Okay.
ago that worked and see if this realigns everybody. All right. That fixed it.
Okay.
So we have a way to fix it when it goes out. It's like I have to just get out the whip, and I just changed the buffer size up and down to dirty the state, then hit reset in Logic Audio, and that gets it back to where the crackle is gone.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So there's a lot we haven't explored yet. There's,
I think there's,
I think so.
a universe full of sounds that we don't know how to make yet.
Well, I have to tell you, what I love with Absynth, coming back and making these sounds, I forgot how much fun, Supercomb and Cloud, some of these other tools that you don't find in other synthesizers exist. The Aetherizer, is that what we
Yeah.
is totally unique, and we both used it for some really cool effects with some of these patches. So I can't wait till we dive into these a bit. Cool. We got a lot of people watching, so this is great. Make sure there's a link in the chat up high that I posted for these patches. We're doing something for a first. You can download these patches that we're going to start working with and play them while we're playing with them, so you can dissect them and analyze them and see more about how Absynth works and some of the, we call it MindMelt because there's some things going on in here that are really cool that will definitely give your mind a challenge to go, hey, I hadn't thought about that. So are you ready to dig in?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have it set up so we both can hear each other and you guys can hear it too. So this is going to be really kind of fun. So I'm going to go to the browser, to the library. If we get time, we'll go back to the audio in ones, but you want to just quickly, the granular sustainer, you said you created that for your guitar playing.
Yeah, I actually play my bass through it.
Oh, cool.
I'm a bass player. I'm not really a guitar player.
Yes.
And so it works with the sustain pedal. So like you push the sustain pedal down, and then when you play notes in it, it sustains it in this kind of diffuse, granular kind of sound. And then you could, like if you change chords, you let up the pedal, push the pedal again, and it's not like playing into an infinite reverb or something like that, where you can't really change chords. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Is audio breaking up?
Yeah. It broke up again. Audio URLs on Facebook on the plugin guru page. If let's see here, Facebook. I think it will show those. Let me reset the audio one more time.
Okay.
Such a pain.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not sure what it is that makes it go. Hey, Hannah? You're not watching any video, are ya? Okay. Please don't for the next hour. Good morning.
Maybe I should do that in my house.
You know,
That might be the problem.
rock and roll. It's all good. This is, I try to make these as professional as I can, but it's a casual, fun hang. So,
Yeah.
audio's gonna break. Things will happen. It's just the way it works sometimes, I guess. It's okay. So I'm gonna go to the patch browser, and just so you know, if you click the sounds button, you can switch between seeing it as this list with the bank name, which is a little bit, it works that way, but it also works, I find it more easier if you're on the page where you see the file browser and you actually can select the folder that you want, and then here's the folder and it doesn't change, and you can go to the other folders of libraries to check out. We're going to start. So we were talking about granular sustainer. What does that do exactly?
Okay. Let me call it up.
It's using cloud on audio inputs. That'd be cool.
There, you've got it. Wait for me. That was me. Loaded it up, but it started. Okay. Okay, that works.
Oh, you have your microphone going in.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't set it up like that on purpose, but
Mono through microphones picked up by another microphone. I'm sure that sounds great on YouTube.
This is kind of weird, but let me try it.
So it's using some things to get more sustain from the bass or whatever audio input you run into it when you use the sustain pedal.
What it's doing is the cloud filter is a granulator.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a granular delay. And it's a granulator with 16 voices.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what it's doing is it's like a delay. There's a buffer, but it's grabbing kind of random chunks from the buffer.
Yeah.
And playing them in like 16 different streams piled up on top of each other.
Yeah, it's a very cool effect.
So it's kind of scattering it, making it more diffused.
Yeah.
And there are several, I think there's 4 cloud filters, like there's 2 in series.
Right.
Left and
right.
That goes in the Aetherizer, which is basically very similar to the cloud filter, except it's denser.
Yeah.
And the Aetherizer has a feedback control. This is what really makes it sustain. There's this feedback control.
Uh-huh.
If you turn it all the way up, it basically makes an infinite, not quite infinite sustain, but it'll sustain for a long time. And that is being controlled by the sustain pedal.
Wow.
By MIDI. So you can turn the sustain on and off.
Yeah, I'm going to reset the audio. Sorry, guys, we're back. I had to reset the clock for the audio. So you get this cool sustaining effect on audio that comes into it, and it's more pronounced with the sustain pedal down.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. Cool.
Because I always like this effect with a really long reverb or a infinite reverb, where you play a note in it.
Right.
And it keeps repeating it. But the problem is you can't change chords and stuff.
Right.
So I was thinking, we should do it like a piano,
Right.
You have a pedal, you play chord, hold the pedal. When you want to change chords, let up the pedal.
I have an audio track, and I'm going to call up as an audio effect Absynth. And let's go over here and call up here. So this effect is taking my single. That's cool. And then hold on to the same pedal. So it basically makes super pads out of anything. Very nice. And then the other audio in patch is Twat O-Tune. What is that doing?
It's like a vocoder. You have to play it. You have to play on the keyboard.
Okay, so you have to have it as a MIDI instrument effect.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't do that right here. So.
Okay, I might be able to do it. Let me try.
Okay.
Kind of works. Wait, me.
Oh yeah, you have your voice there, so you could do that.
Somehow. Okay, that's doing it.
Yeah.
That's doing it. Okay, la. Oh, Superman. Okay, this is a couple of comb filters.
Right.
With the resonance turned up really high and the frequencies controlled by the node input.
Right, super combs. 3 super combs.
Yeah, so you can play chords and stuff. I find it works really well with drums.
Right.
Like drum loop through it. With the resonance not too high. And play changing chords. It's a really cool effect.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's move past those because you need an audio input and so forth to get those to work. So we'll get to the first bass patch is Deep Impact. And the audio broke up really bad.
Let's sing. Hello. An ordinary vocoder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trippy, man. I'd like to hear that on drums.
Back really easily, so be careful with it.
Right. Yeah, a couple
you
of these.
Use it with a microphone.
Yeah. A couple of these, there's one patch on the effects that you created that I had to turn down because it had abilities to severely gang up on itself and become this really big, loud sound.
Yeah.
Okay, Deep Impact. This is a snappy bass patch you created. And I was trying to figure out, I was studying this for a while to try to understand what you were doing to get it to be so snappy. Because if you look at the envelopes, they're not snappy. I mean, there's a little snap to them. But the
envelopes are snappy. The slope is what's making it snappy.
Yeah, somewhere there's
the slope to get this curve.
Yeah. But the additional snap is coming from your sine wave.
Yeah, you can turn channels off to listen to what they're doing. Channels A and C are just... Boy, audio messing up again?
Not here.
No? Okay.
But if you go to the filter, you have a wave shaper on each of the 3 filters. Because I studied this. I was like, how in the heck are you getting it? So I actually had to turn it down just a little bit to get it to be a little bit more balanced with the body of the bass. And it's because of these wave shapers that you have going on.
Now this is an Absynth 5 feature inside some of the filters.
Yes.
You can insert a wave shaper or a frequency shifter or a ring modulator.
Right.
And this is something I use almost systematically now.
Yeah.
So it inserts the wave shaper in the feedback loop of the filter, and this can
Like here's with here. Let me turn it off so you can. This is without it, and my audio is freaking out again. Maybe make the buffer a little bigger. To do, but so here's without that wave shaper on each of the filters, and it's this nice snappy super resonant sound because the resonance is at 1 for the feedback.
Yeah, it's turned up all the way.
Right. But then once you put it into the feedback loop with the wave shaper, that tapers down that resonance and makes it become just this huge fat body.
It kind of compresses it.
Yeah.
It distorts it, and depending on the wave shape, it can become really unstable.
Yeah.
If you amount of wave shaping turned up all the way, and you choose something like a square wave,
yeah,
it gets really interesting. Stable effect. Things that,
yeah. Death torpedoes.
Yeah, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
Even just a little bit if you want just a conventional filter sound. It's fun to work with the wave editor.
Yeah.
And play around with the wave. It really changes the character of the filter.
Wow. So that's. Oh, what do we do? We're on snares. Oh, browser, come back here. But the body and the snap is just really unique. And the way he's getting that again, guys, is on the filter page, the feedback loop is being sent through a wave shaper. So you can go here, change the parameters, change the amounts, change the different waveforms by clicking here. And this will give you all sorts of interesting additional.
Yeah, one thing when you're doing that, play with this phase invert switch just to the right of the waveform
Yes.
button.
Right.
That totally changes the way it works.
Yes.
And it depends on the waveform you've got.
Yeah, you don't notice if it's just normal phase, so you do need to invert the phase. Interesting.
Yeah.
So inverting the phase, so it somehow is fighting against the phase cycle of the original filter, right? That's how it's compressing it. I believe.
Yeah, sort of.
Right. My mind is melting already. All right. All right. Snappy and deep. Pretty straight ahead. I can use this one to show you guys. In order to get parameters inside of Absynth connected up, you can go to the patch and click in the value boxes with the right click or control click. And that's where you can see the whole list. This is a list of all the sliders. So if I wanted this to be controlled by a different slider, it's the little blue dot shows that it's currently being assigned to the right slider. One thing I didn't know that I recently found out is up here where it says modulation parameters. You can click here and you can see everything that's connected to that parameter. A lot of times velocity is not turned on, so you can turn it on. And if it is on, then you have a depth here, and 99.90 is maximum. 0 means there's no velocity value what to it. So if you want a parameter to have velocity sensitivity and it doesn't, normally you have to go over here to the assignments page, to the MIDI page, and look down the list. And if it's not there, you can hit add, and it gets kind of overwhelming to look at this list this way. So it's really cool. You can go to any parameter. If I wanted transpose to be assigned somewhere by velocity, I could go here and say velocity. You know, you can can do it by having access to the parameters from the edit page without having to go over here into the note and all this kind of stuff to work with, which is nice. So let's go to the next patch. This is I Spy. And my audio just freaked out like really badly. So we'll reset. So I Spy is a BPM rhythmic patch, and it's actually a kind of a cousin to a more complex patch version in the Power Pack. Oscillator A, I just set the volume down. You can have the pitch. Without it, it's just a steady. And then the mod wheel takes it up an octave. And the way it's getting this pulsing and stuff is down here. If you hit envelopes, you can see that A is doing a sweepy sound, and we don't hear A. B, and if you want to dissect it further, up here on these oscillator pages, you can click to turn these on and off to solo something quickly, so you can hear. Here it is. So I can play around with the envelope. If you want to be it in time, hit grid. So now you can move things around to the grid. And if you keep things lined up with the 1, 2, 4 timing values, then you can get so. Right? So it's in time with A or C. So you can play with this rhythm and dissect it any way you want just by going to these simple parameters on the envelope page and clicking around and having a good time there. It's a lot of fun to do that. Cool. So experiment with that. Let's go to clap. Oh wait, I want clap? No. It keeps going to the Absynth factory patches again. Here's one that Brian did, and this has a lot going on. How do you say this name? Taihu Osmandius.
I have a list of I keep a list of potential patch names when I encounter some word or phrase or something. I say,
yeah,
that'd be a good patch name. And this was from some silly article of a list of weird Chinese menu items.
Yes.
And so that's where that came from. And I don't know how you pronounce it.
Well, it's nice to know you're not the only one that makes patches you can't pronounce, because I do that sometimes.
Ozymandias.
Yeah, Osmandius. So this is a BPM patch.
Yeah.
I took a lot of work to get the intricacies you have in the rhythm going on. My audio's breaking up again. I hate doing this. Yeah.
So I'm not sure how I proceed.
There's just an awful lot going on with envelopes to the super comb filters, as well as the pulsing. So you can dissect this easily by just turning off the oscillators and just listening to A. I love that one. Sounds like Bali. And then B is and then
B is very similar.
Yes.
I think I copied and pasted and then modified B a little bit.
Right. Get the stereo thing. It's layered and there's panning going on to it. Really interesting. And then check out C. It's like this harp player just dancing around some cloud. How's it doing that? Resonance is high. Oh, you have frequency shift. If we turn this off.
Yeah. Turn the effect off.
Oh, there we go. That's a lot of it. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like much. A lot of it's coming from the Aetherizer.
Right. So if you look at the Aetherizer, one thing that's really cool is that it has like selective pitches, it can be assigned for the what you call filter quantize, right?
Right. The way the Aetherizer works with its filter, each grain has a bandpass filter.
Wow.
Okay. And the frequency of the bandpass filter is kind of random.
Right.
Which you can control.
Right.
You can control the range of randomness. And if you turn on filter quantize, it will be random within that range, but it'll be quantized like to a scale.
Right.
And this one's set to a whole tone scale,
right,
which I think you can hear
pretty
clearly.
Let me turn this off so you hear without it. It's just all over the place. But if we say whole tone, cool. Yeah.
There you go. And it's the filter hertz is being modulated by an LFO. So
right.
That's why you hear it going up and down.
Right. You can also play with the slider. You can get it even more unique, and then change this to be a different chord, like fifths, and you hear it playing like chord elements. And if you want more, go over here to the feedback. Set that up. And it becomes like a really...
Feedback's controlled by one of the macros.
Oh, okay.
If you want the feedback all the way, you turn macro all the way up. Harder all the way up.
Yeah, so a lot of times you have to go to the performance page here. And there's a slider to bring it up. So that's the Aetherizer effect. Ringing out, but it's set to fifth right now. So it's this really cool, you know, build a song around having this cool beginning introduction thing with something like this. And if I add A and B to it. That's cool.
Keeps on going.
Keeps on going. Yeah, I had feedback cranked inside the Aetherizer itself. So it's a lot to play with, and it's got this really nice like live loop. I really like that patch. It's fun to play with. And the audio is... these chats with in Russia do this without it being a problem.
I'm gonna be back in 1 minute. I'm gonna make sure somebody's not hogging the bandwidth.
Okay. I think it has more to do with just the computers and anytime I'm playing a sound or something, it just causes the amount of cycles on the computer. I think is the culprit. Because if it was a bandwidth thing from you, then it would be all the time, you know. So. You can do that if you want, but
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Those kids. So break out of my. Yeah, you can set this to 80 beats per minute. Oh, you're talking about I think another one, but there's a lot of fun stuff in here. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. So. But the Aetherizer is just the coolest effect on the planet. You can get such really cool... And you can get this random so that it goes all over the place. I mean... I was just showing him how I set if you bring the random up on the transpose, it's so cool because it gives it such a wide range to play with. It's fun.
Yeah, that makes like a cluster, like a random cluster of notes.
Yeah, it just becomes very dense. Crazy effect. There's nothing like it. Nobody's made an effect like that outside of Absynth that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, me, that's. I always thought of granular synthesis as being a way of generating sounds like rain or water or wind. All these sounds that are made up of a bunch of little tiny sounds.
Right.
Uh, they're like clouds of sounds.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's what I was trying to accomplish with it.
Yeah. Oh, and it does so much more than that. But yeah, it diffuses into such a really cool way the sound.
Yeah. Well, the feedback effect, I'm not going to go into how that algorithm works because I don't think anybody else does it this way.
Right. Here, hold on a second. The audio just went bad.
Constantly changing,
Yeah.
that they're constantly shifting around.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a cool effect. This is a patch we did in the previous YouTube video. This Space Nova. And it all started with playing around in the samples folder of Absynth, because a lot of people don't know that there's so many samples to play with. And I was doing it with headphones, and so once I got it to where I had with speakers, I was able to balance that noise element with these other two elements. There's a synth element here. And all the time, I love to go to just the oscillator setting and make it double so that you can do these cool chordal things and then use unison. And the transpose, once you use voices,
Yeah.
you can make all sorts of really cool chords or clusters. But an octave is a really cool, just open, wide chord, wide voicing effect. And then I had a bass sound. I have it subtly changing with some LFOs. And you combine that with the noise. And then you can use the performance sliders to play with it. Really fun. So that's how that got dissected. Let's go to Anlard. How'd you do that? It's a nice chord, but it has this really cool resonant ambience.
Yeah. Well, we were talking before about using wave shapers in the filters.
Yes.
And I'd been just experimenting with that and trying to get kind of a real dirty analog sort of sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Just using one oscillator and a filter.
Right.
And that was a cool sound. So then I just copied and pasted that.
Right. Now, how do you copy paste? So if you say copy,
right, you go edit. You see in each module in the top left.
Yes.
You've got
edit. You have the edit page here, right?
Yeah, just a little edit menu, and you can copy and paste modules.
And so if you say copy channel, that copies the whole thing, right?
Yeah, that will copy the oscillator, then the filter, whatever the two other modules are. Working a long time in it, and you want to just like double it.
Right.
Copy the channel, and then you paste the channel somewhere else.
Right.
And you can modify it a little bit.
Right. I reset the audio while Brian was talking, but when you hit copy for the channel right here, it copies not only these three 3 modules, but also whatever the associated envelopes are. So it will let you take the entire slab of this one sound. If it was this, I could say copy this channel. I could go to a new patch that I'm working on and turn it on and then say paste this channel. And it will make a duplicate with envelopes of that element. So if there's some element in some Absynth patch that you really want to play with somewhere else, that's how you can do it really easily. It's just by using the copy paste features that are in the top left of each one of these 3 oscillators. Awesome.
It's also maybe worth mentioning now, since we're talking about the edit menu.
Yeah.
You've got a module that's doing something you really like some filter that you've been working on the waveform and spending some time with, or something that's difficult to set up.
Yeah.
You do edit and save as a template. Save the template, save channel template. And you can load it up anytime you want in any other patch.
Great. Good to know about. That's a nice power user thing, because if there's some standard way you want to use this, say you're doing a record project and you want to have kind of the same characteristic, but you want to edit it, you can start there and then play and edit to shape for the song that you're working on, but starting from your own specific default setting, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes it just takes a long time to set something up.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of envelope.
Yeah.
And you might want to use it again.
Yeah. For those of you that are new to to Absynth, I'm so used to saying Omnisphere. Blah. I shouldn't say blah, but if you go to the envelope page, one thing that's really unique with Absynth is that when you first call up a new patch, if we were to say edit and say file, new sound, there's only the amp as far as what you see here envelope-wise. If you wanted to say new, it will let you choose a whole list of different possible parameters that can be enveloped. Everything can have an envelope inside of Absynth, which is really fun.
Almost.
But it can take a long time to set up. So if you are experimenting, and the other thing that's really smart with this is as you add new modules, and let's say that we change this to be the main is going to be Super Comb, which has all of these different parameters to it. When you go back to the envelope section and you hit new, there's now a new module for the filter that's added those parameters to be available to be used as envelopes. So if you're playing with the sound, let's make this a sawtooth. And you find something that you're moving here that's like, that'd be cool to be changing in some real-time way. Then you'd go to your envelope page and go to the, filter frequency is there now, but if I wanted, I could hit new and Super Comb. Here's the parameters for it. So you can add those parameters, and now you can add envelopes and Super Comb low pass. I don't know if that's set up right, but yeah, just low pass. And build away from there. So yeah.
There's one other way to create envelopes that I actually use more often in the patch view.
Okay.
Right click on a parameter like you should before for selecting macro sliders.
Yeah.
At the very bottom, you've got create new envelope. And that will
go to that list and select it for you automatically.
Yeah, it just creates it right away.
And you go to it. So that's awesome. I didn't even, all these years programming, I didn't know about that one.
I use that all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're here, to tell us. So cool. Okay, so you've learned a new trick. I've learned a new trick. I didn't know that. You could go to any parameter, right click on it, and at the bottom of the list, is the option right there to create a new envelope quickly if you want. Dang. That's very useful.
And one other thing I'd like to show in analog sound.
Yes. Let me reset the audio real quick. 1 second.
Okay.
And I'll reload the patch at the same time.
Hear anything?
And we're back.
Okay.
It's like we have to go underwater for a minute or something. I'm sorry. I wish this was working smoothly and perfectly, but
So, you hear when I play?
yes.
You hear that?
Yes.
Okay. If you go on the perform page and you look at the sliders, there's pitch A, pitch B, pitch C.
Yes.
So,
chromatic.
these are pitches.
Right. It's not going. You hear it actually stepping.
So you can set different chords that way. And the way this works,
yes.
This is a somewhat obscure feature, but if you go in the envelope and select, say, oscill main pitch, you'll see there's this kind of stair-step envelope. And if you look at the mode, you notice it's set to control-driven envelope. What that means is normally an envelope changes in time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's control-driven, it is controlled by MIDI input. Okay?
Now where is this at? I'm looking to see where you're...
Okay.
So I'm on the patch page.
Yeah. No, go to the envelopes.
Okay. Oh, that's right, the envelopes for pitch.
Also a main pitch.
Right.
Or one of those. And you look at the mode, it's control driven.
Right. Control driven right here.
And if you adjust the slider, like through MIDI, you'll see there's this purple line.
Right.
On the envelope that shows where you are on the envelope. So I set this up as like a step envelope, and each breakpoint is set to a different transpose value.
Wow.
And by adjusting the macro slider, it goes through this, and it's quantized.
Wow. So if we go to the main pitch for C on the performance page, you hear different pitches. If you go back to the envelope, it will show you where it's currently at. Oh, the pitch, it didn't, was it mod pitch? Oh, there it is, mod pitch. It's the mod pitch is changing. Yeah, it's changing now. So, okay, that's correct.
So with this feature, you can make it respond any way you want to MIDI input.
Wow.
I mean, it could go up, or it could go down, or it could go up and then go down.
Right.
You're changing your MIDI controller, or it could be in steps. Some of it could be in steps. Some of it could slide. It's super flexible.
Right, and so you're just setting the transpose point for each of these divisions of the envelope. Wow. Right. Okay. That's a lot. That's cool. Okay, I'm resetting audio. All right, we're back. That's very cool. I really hope that Absynth gets an update soon to 6. Question mark, smiley face. Like Brian said, it's not up to him. There's stuff happening, and it's up to Native Instruments to put it all together. So we're not here to announce anything. We're just here to play with Absynth 5. That's really cool. I hadn't thought about having that stair stepper. That's very fun.
And one thing about this, maybe I should point out too, if you go on the envelope page and you select the envelope and then you click on the transform menu.
Click on the
You'll
transform
see
menu.
you've
Yeah.
got load envelope template and save envelope template.
Right.
Okay. So this is an envelope that's a pain to set up.
Yes.
Okay. It takes about 5 minutes to do this, but it's not something, if you want to do it over and over again.
Well, it takes knowing how to set it up too. And for someone that doesn't know how to set it up like this, then it's really handy to be able to go over here and hit save envelope to save like a rhythmic envelope from something you like, or
Yes.
anything that's been created that's part of any patch in Absynth and the thousands of patches that there are. That's really handy to make a little library of templates.
Yeah. And if you click on the open template, you'll see there's already a bunch of templates available.
So if you say load envelope template, yes. Line, random, rhythmic, step sequence, ZZZ, the last one, stuff like that. So
The last one. You've got that?
it's what it says.
Okay.
I don't think I've made a template before.
I don't know if mine's the same as everybody else's.
But there's a step sequence triplet, 8th or 16th notes. Right. So that's really cool.
If you click on it, you'll see it.
Yeah. So that way you have that ready. And if I hit cancel, it will go back to what was there before, which is nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yay. Awesomeness. All right, next patch. More brain pain to happen. Oh, this is a victory alert. This was one of mine that I did. Again, showing what you can do with the unison mode. I believe. Oh no, this was cloud stuff using the combs. What did I do? I used. Oh, it's just a grain cloud on the main output that does the really big. I gotta kill my audio. One more. I'm sorry, guys. I am. And there's some parameters here for filtering and so forth. I don't think I had this very well follow through for the real-time controls. But the main things that's making the sound here is this cloud. Here. Giving it nice diffusion. There's A, B. So B and C, B and C are your main. And then A is just this dirty layer. And I love me the wave shaper. I use that wave shaper everywhere. It does such a nice job just bringing a little edge to something before it goes out of the thing that's crazy is you can have the wave shaper on every oscillator and a wave shaper down here in the flow, because the way it works, you have 3 oscillators that have 3 modules that then are joined right here at this mixer section, and then they all go together through these last 3 effects. Well, not effects, but a wave shape tool, which can do the comb, super comb, cloud. And I love that in Absynth 5, the filter is no longer just a filter. It can also be cloud or super comb. And then the effects, which we'll get to and look at in a little bit. But that's such a powerful system to have. Very flexible.
Yeah, I always found that putting a wave shaper in the master section where you've done it here, it kind of blends the 3 channels together.
Yeah.
Kind of merges them together, glues them together.
Yeah. Just makes it more of like a cohesive sound. So that's where I use it a lot for that. Nice. All right, here's a interesting one. Your Stocky Tarkowski Water Factory. Let's play that for a minute.
This is a really old one. This is an Absynth 1 patch, but I updated it recently for Absynth 5. 5.
Okay.
So it's got uses a super comb filter, which didn't exist before. Cloud filter.
Yes.
There's a bunch of cloud filters in this.
Right. So if we turn, you can experiment at home. Turn these different modules off by clicking on where it says the name of it, and by killing the combs. You get to where you hear what the underlying synthesis before it goes through these different modules that are manipulating that sound in unique ways. And then turn each one on, and you can hear what's happening in A. Here's B, C. Really interesting. Yeah, it's like a dream, kind of. Water
That's the idea.
Yeah, Water Factory is a good name for it.
The idea. It's well, these really long resonant comb filters, you know, they create their own pitch, and that's being modulated. How is this being modulated? There's a lot of envelopes in this one.
Yes. And by the way, if you go here to show, you can say show all to show all the envelopes at once. So there's like 16 envelopes doing things.
Okay, now this type of patch, if you zoom way out.
Yes, we are zooming out.
You can see that it's these really long envelopes, and they're looped. They're all in loop mode.
Okay.
And they're all out of sync with each other. So it makes a sound that's constantly changing.
Right.
And since the envelopes never in sync with each other, it never really repeats.
Right.
You'll hear things come back, but it always sounds different because all the other parameters are being modulated differently.
Right. And it's interesting, this is one where the envelopes, I've said many times, there's no synthesizer with more powerful envelopes than Absynth. And here you have the, which one is this on? I think it's, is it right here? Yeah, the A channel pan has the LFO enabled for the segments of the envelope. So if we turned off B and C, simplify this so we can hear. I don't hear the panning. Oh, it's going to change panning now. So now you can hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty random and subtle.
Right, but there's certain times where it pops up and it becomes the voice in this 3 oscillator patch, whereas other times it's not the voice in this patch, which is interesting. Lovely. And my audio freaked out again, of course. All right.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's got life to it, you know? You have to hold the note down to hear what this does.
But it's also pretty tweakable now. That's what I was trying to do with it. Before it was just one of these sounds, you hold a note and just let it play. And now it's got quite a lot of parameters with the sliders you can play with. Change the character rather.
Definitely. Cool. Wow. So make sure you play with this, guys. It's fun. Cool. Deep rumble. A deep rumble. Nice. Anything to say about deep rumble?
I don't remember how this one works. I think the Aetherizer is important.
Yes.
If you turn the Aetherizer off, it doesn't rumble as much.
Yes.
And the Aetherizer, the filter is turned on and it's set quite low.
Yes.
It's set to about 300 hertz. So it's making these random low frequency bandpass resonant filters.
Oh, here we go. So the bandpass is set to, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool to bring it up too. I got to reset my audio one more time. There we go. Very cool. Yeah, if you need the picture of a plunge, you know, somebody jumping into the water, that's a good place to look. All right, let's go to the next one. Electric Cat. I like this one. Someone's commenting on the faces I'm making while playing. That's fun.
Okay, this one.
It sounds like it wants to be electric violin, but then something badly goes wrong.
Yeah, it's now that guitarist Adrian Belew would make.
Yes.
Where he puts his guitar right in front of the speaker, and there's this interference between the speaker magnet and the pickups.
Yeah.
Of the guitar. It makes these squealy noises.
Yeah.
And it made me think of that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got that kind of like.
And the way it's working, we were talking about using wave shapers inside filters.
Yeah.
And this has two super comb filters in series.
Yes.
And
both using wave shapes.
Parameters, and each one is set to a wave shaper, which in the super comb does really weird things.
Yeah.
And he set this kind of messed up square wave, which is really extreme for wave shaping.
Yeah.
And then it's some of these super comb are being modulated.
Right, I noticed that.
It reached like some node where it's changed the whole behavior of the filter.
Wow. That's very unique.
It's a weird, unpredictable.
Yeah, you can hear it when it hits certain frequencies nodes. Cool. Well, let's leave it at that and move to the next one because I just noticed we've gone an hour and a half doing this so far. Here, I love Geiger. This is a tribute you did recently to him, right?
This is one that'll play on forever. I have had this idea of doing a piece of electroacoustic music called Hommage à Giger, and I have never finished it. So I've got all these patches sitting around, and this is one of them. This is one of these kind of like the stocky Tarkovsky patch. It's one of these patches that has these long loops that are out of sync with each other, so it'll just keep playing forever without repeating.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa, holy cow. The main pitch. I'm looking at the how did you
The way I made this,
how'd you do that?
Actually, it's just there's just one channel.
Oh, you use the LFO as noise.
Wait a second. Let me look at it. Yes.
That is awesome.
The main pitch is being modulated by
noise. Wow.
Noise LFO in the envelope.
Yeah. This is all coming from one oscillator, guys. That's what's.
And I was, well, if you turn the filters off, try turning the filter off.
Turn the filter off?
And the effect. Turn the effect off too.
Right. So it's this noise that becomes a waveform. And the super combs take over.
Yeah.
And then the Aetherizer and my audio's breaking up. All right.
Well, originally this was kind of a shakuhachi type of sound. It sounds kind of like a weird flute.
Right. If you took the effects down and stuff, right?
expanded it into something else.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing.
But again, like you said, the pitch is all coming from the supercomb filters.
Right.
It's not coming from the oscillator.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a physical modeling.
Yeah. It's really interesting to hear how they are affecting the sound. And again, the envelopes are big here to take a look at and see. We're going to zoom out some because there's a lot happening on different ones.
Yeah, this has crazy envelopes. Some of them aren't really doing anything, I see.
But there's enough motion happening in different components that you just have this evolving. Yeah. It sounds like something that'd be perfect for the new Alien movie coming out, so can't wait.
Maybe they used it.
Maybe they used it. Yeah. Well, no, has this sound available somewhere? Well, you released it a while ago, right? This sound?
No, actually, I didn't. No, on Facebook, I made a little video with it.
Okay, right. So this is the first time it's been.
I haven't released it back.
Right.
So,
well, for the next follow-up of Alien movie.
One, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up is a patch. I was playing with the samples inside of Absynth again because people don't realize that there is a lot there to work with. So this is using the nylon and the acoustic guitar samples into Cloud, which makes for a really nice crackly sound. So the Cloud diffuses it in a really interesting way. Without it, but then the Cloud just gives this lovely. Are the patches using a latch mode? Every time I hit a note, they sustain. No, none of these are sustaining here. Do you have a sustain pedal that you can click? Because these are standard parameters. Yours aren't sustaining, right, Brian?
No, mine doesn't sustain.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Kindle. I don't know what's going on. It should not be sustaining.
Is the sustain pedal switch on?
There is a sustain pedal hold button down here, which if these are on, then they sustain forever. But just click those off, and now it won't sustain anymore. Unless you hold down the sustain pedal, and then it will. All right, moving on after sad guitars. Liquefied electric. Oh, this is the keyboard sound. This is a really nice piano.
Yeah, I was actually trying to make realistic Rhodes sound. I was really analyzing Rhodes sounds. I was looking at like spectrograms of Rhodes samples. I was measuring how long it takes the envelope to decay and all this stuff. It was getting pretty involved.
Yeah. Here, one second. One second.
I just messed it up.
Let me.
A lot of
and then you messed it up.
Rhodes sound. I mean, it's not going to replace your samples.
Right. Well, no, it's not supposed to, but
it's pretty good for a synth, and then you can expand on that.
So if you turn off the Aetherizer effect, you have it to be.
You can do that with the slider.
Right, or just go to the mix balance.
Tweakable as possible. You can turn the effect balance down.
Right. And one thing that's nice to point out with these effects is that you have a wet slider or a wet control and a dry control. So you can bring down just the wet balance, or you could just bring up just the dry balance. So if you wanted to have just the effect for an alternative synthesizer piano sound, or then bring up a little bit of dry, or go the other way and take away the effect and you have just a dry piano. Makes it very flexible to have it work that way. And you have other controls here for the tone. Very nice. Lovely to play with. So there we go. What else is next? Oh, Melancholia.
There's a missing L.
Oh, Melancholia.
Yeah, I'm missing. Oh well, typo. Now this is again wave shapers inside of filters.
Right.
And let me look at what controls.
There's a clicking sound in your audio.
Yes, it's clicking.
Have you seen the link to download some trial samples? Hey, I'm gonna check something downstairs. I'll be right back. So give me just 30 seconds. Yeah, you can do a concert.
I'll just improvise a little bit. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, so this is controlling how much wave shaping is going on in the filters. If you turn it up all the way, it starts kind of breaking apart. If you bring it down, it gives a nice density.
We're back. The clicking's gone.
Good. I still hear it.
So, have we covered? Did you talk a little bit about what's happening here?
Yeah, but was I on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is again wave shapers inside of filters.
Yeah, that clicking's back, but cool.
There's basically two parts that you can control with the sliders. There's this flute kind of sound, and then there's this pad synth sound.
Right.
Flute sound. How does that work? You know, it's just weird stuff happening with the wave paper inside the filter. It gets this weird flute-like.
Yeah, the Ramfire morph. And you can see that it's being changed inside of the wave shapers. Is that an LFO? Yeah, wave morph is changing. I have audio problems here.
By an LFO. And why did I do that? I don't remember why I did that. It's being controlled by its own input.
Well, that's how it gets that character.
The level of the input changes the shape of the wave shaper.
Right. So you see the wave shapers are being changed in real time.
I can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, you don't hear me?
Okay.
I'm here? Yeah? Sorta?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, they're having a audio is John is my yeah. I'm sorry the audio for Brian isn't as great as I would like. I'm not able to get the chat from the video to go into DAW with the plugins and my microphone mixed to then go to a live stream feed. It's too complex of a system. I don't have the right software. Maybe there's some way to do this. I have to investigate to try to solve this because I would like to be able to do these more often. And this is kind of a test run to see how it works, and I think we're doing okay. We're having a good time. My head hurts, so I know something good's going on. Great, let's look at the next sound here that we want to play with. Go over here. Oh, it's one of mine. No. Peaceful Retribution. Isn't that yours? Oh, I put your name to it. I did this one. It's a pad sound with, I love the ring mod, so it was used on the Bia to break up the sine wave from just being a straight sine wave. When you take it from being a noise high frequency, the setting for the pitch, it's one of my favorite tricks.
Yeah, you set it to a really low frequency.
Right, so it just diffuses the sine wave. So it's kind of a cloud without being a cloud, just by using the noise shape.
That's really cool. It's kind of an old DX7 trick.
Yeah, it's old school programming thing.
Setting the carrier to a...
Because the noise is like this, but when it becomes really slow, it becomes like this arbitrary sample and hold LFO that you can't, You know, it's different points, but it doesn't have the sample and hold stair steppiness to it. So it's just this random diffusing thing. So it's here. And then the wave shapers bring it, and then I have a really bright sound on A, and B, which when you combine that with the nice warm sine wave that's diffused, and then put that into the effects, it just becomes this really big. And then I filtered it some too. And there you go. So it's using some things to diffuse the sound in different places, and the Aetherizer takes it into being, you know, very peaceful and beautiful. Whisper wave shape synthesis. I like this.
Yeah. Okay. Now this one, once again, wave shapers inside filters. But you'll notice if you look at the oscillator is just a sine wave.
Right.
So all the harmonics are coming from the filters, from the wave shapers.
Right. That's very cool.
And it's got, if you just like slide or filter res, it'll increase the amount of harmonics. And this is something I'm really interested in. Just using a sine wave and then using wave shapers to
Yeah.
generate the wave. It's like a filter, but it doesn't really sound like a filter. It's you can't really identify
Yeah.
how the sound is being made.
That's very cool. Considering it's from a sine wave. It reminds me of 9 Inch Nails kind of stuff, you know?
And if you turn the res up to the waves, you get pretty noisy.
The res on the all pass?
On the sliders.
Oh. Where's our res? Oh, yeah.
And if you turn it all the way down, it's very fine.
And my audio's, I don't, do you guys on YouTube, do you hear the audio breaking up? I'm just curious if this is something that, if
I'm
you,
hearing all kinds of weird sounds.
yeah, it's going weird.
In my headphones.
Please repost the download link. Okay. I think I can post download links. I think they show up. Let me try. Go here. The link's been copied. Here is the link. Yeah, they're hearing clicks. Okay, let me reset the audio again. I'm sorry about this. There we go. Some breaking up, but not too irritating. Not too annoying. Cool. Let's get back to here. Now we're ready for Evil Rimba. This is another patch that was started in the YouTube video that is previous to this one. Just making an EDM kind of perky that has a unique quality to it. I really like the rubbery of just A by itself. What's that?
Input gain.
What's that?
There's an envelope on the wave shape.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what
That's what I'm using to kind of filter it. Because without it, it just... Yes. And then B is FM. So you can hear the FM with the envelope. What's fun with this is that you can have different types of synthesis for each oscillator. So B has a pitch, as well as the index, which stands for the amount of FM synthesis being applied. To get to be kind of steel drum metal-esque. And then an octave up perk. And then I use the Aetherizer again. Give us a little splash. It's fun. Nothing too complex and crazy. Bowed glass. This is a beautiful patch. I'm going to reset the audio again because it's... Okay, here we are with bowed glass. So sine wave and noise. Here's without the super combs. But they tame it down to be this really nice metallic glassy sound.
Yeah, that's where the pitch comes from.
Yeah. How are you doing that? Well, it's set to transpose. I get.
The oscillator 1 is just a sine wave.
Right.
You get a pitch. Oscillator 2 got this noise between cloud filters that it diffuses it and spreads it out.
Right.
And I think it's got a filter on. The cloud filter has this bandpass filter turned on, so it's
right.
Functions like a tone control.
Right.
And that's probably, let me look at what's being modulated here.
And then gain, and then you have the two super combs. You have velocity controlling.
The first super comb is what's giving it the pitch.
Right.
Feedback turned up really high, and it plays in tune with whatever note you play. And the second super comb is just acting with tone control.
Oh, I got the.
It's set to a really high frequency. I always like comb filters set to high frequency.
Yeah.
It makes this interesting kind of scoop sound. You got bass, high end, but it's kind of scooping out the mid range.
Yeah.
And then the Aetherizer is sort of a reverb. But yes, one of the...
I just love that stereo image and the reverb is... Because the Aetherizer is able to diffuse and do a nice...
Right.
Such a great effect. Cool. All right, continuing on. Oh, this was a crazy one. The dipole repeller. Play with the mod wheel on this one. Check it out, because
that's controlling.
Well, the trick with, I studied this one earlier to see what was going on. I was like, how are you getting? There's this. So the way that it is being accomplished, check this out, is if you go to the envelopes, they're really short loops. So there's no LFO. It's actually just repeating the. Let's see if we move this over to the beginning, and let's just play with A. Then Then go to the envelope and it's very cool. I was thinking it'd be really cool to have a modulating source that could take a point and like do like an orb thing to that one modulated LFO point. You could. Would an LFO do that now? I'm not showing my screen, am I? But I have like the decay segment of the envelope amp. You know, if you can move that parameter in a circle, it makes this really cool, you know. An LFO would do that, right?
So the time is being modulated.
Right.
By a slot.
Time and level at the same time.
If you set, let me see. Okay, take you select the right breakpoint. And macro, set that to, I don't know. You can set that to some macro.
Uh-huh.
And then turn it up.
That would do it.
Scaling up. You should be able to modulate it with another, if you go to the next piece, then you can merge them into a controller.
Yeah. But well, I can't see what you're doing, so there might be a demo. But just that.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
I'd like to show.
Yeah. Well, give us 5 more years. The next live stream in 5 years.
Okay, maybe sooner.
Yeah, maybe sooner. We'll figure it out. Yeah. But how are we getting it to speed up and slow down? So, because
select the second. Select oscillate amp.
Yeah.
You click on the second to the last breakpoint, and you look at control.
Yeah.
It's assigned to the mod wheel.
Yes.
And the time scale is turned up all the way, so the mod wheel is controlling the position and time
for the end of the loop, right? Cool. Awesome. Wow. And I gotta reset my audio one more time.
That same envelope is controlling other parameters.
Right.
So you get a repeating effect on the filters as well.
Hold on a second. Awesome. Audio's back. There's a lot going on in that sound. Call it back up. Yeah, it's kind of mechanical in a way. It's really interesting. All right. Existence. It's just a nice synth sound using the 3 elements of to work with. Bow on the third oscillator is giving it the diffusion. But again, it's the Aetherizer that just I love that effect so much. Easy to make interesting things. Guy wire. Hello. It hit someplace and it brought up that resonating.
fast.
Yeah.
If you let up really fast, then
Yeah, there it is.
that's a little flaw in it.
Cool effect.
Let's see. It's really simple.
It's probably the super comb
It's
feedback or something.
sine wave going into super comb, and the pitch of the sine wave is being modulated with an envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So it like sweeps down really fast.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do tremulous. I like this one because this is like a mandolin tremolo kind of thing. Why is it so crackly? It's not a CPU issue because the CPU is not even sweating. Huh. Maybe it sounds okay to them. It's just my playback or something. Oh.
This one, if you look at the envelopes, there's a lot of weird LFO stuff happening in the envelopes.
LF.
It's giving it that tremolo kind of.
Ah, gotcha. Yes.
And then it's being smoothed down with the comb filter.
Right.
So the oscillators are making this noise and rhythmic thing. And
wow.
The comb filter.
So here's without the effects, just the 3 oscillators. And then that noise is being turned into pitch because of the super comb filters here. No?
Yeah.
It's the Aetherizer that really like shapes it though. But yeah, you hear the pitch there. Interesting. It's like one of those things when you're mixing a big song and you just use a couple different small effects to make a big change over time. It's, you know, it stacks up and adds up until you get to the end of the sound, and then it's quite noticeable, the sound, you know? Lovely. Yeah, it just sounded like Italian mandolin reinterpreted by Absynth, you know? And then finally, the Xenomorph Shakuhachi. Whole lot going on.
This is related to Homage à Giger.
Right.
It's from that same family of patches.
Wow.
And it's got a lot of envelopes.
Yes, it does. Yeah, you have the rhythmic pulsing, I see, happening up. Yeah, A's main pitch is all over the place. A lot of things rest when they get to the end of the shapes that they have. Yeah, it's got that really nice. Wow. Good Lord. From one oscillator. Yeah. Very deep, my friend. Well, I hope you guys enjoy these patches. It was fun to explore them. My head hurts. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not your normal just straight ahead synthesizer. And okay, it's back. Well, I'm sorry. It's very frustrating that I've had these audio issues. But it's been really nice. I'm need to upgrade my technology. I think I can get it to be better than this, so I will keep working at it. But thank you for joining me for this it was a fun experiment, and I've definitely learned some things in Absynth that I didn't know about. It's fun to go to a synthesizer that you've had for so long and still learn new things. I mean, that's a very rewarding thing.
Well, yeah, it's got a lot of weird little features that are kind of hidden.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't know.
yeah. Well, now people know about a few more features than maybe what they did before. Cool. Well, let's wrap it here.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to share about Absynth that we might not know about that we've seen it all already, it seems. What?
I think we covered everything I thought of talking about. We've talked about, so
Great.
I think we covered everything.
That's rewarding. I'm happy.
I'm happy too. I'm happy you invited me on your show. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Enough.
Yeah. We'll do it again.
Let's do
For sure.
whatever you want.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to go, and thank you, Brian, for joining me. And thank you guys for watching on the YouTube channel. I'll show stuff another time. I'm just really frustrated with my audio, so I'm not going to try to, if I try to show anything, it will fall apart and crackle and pop and all that stuff. So we'll do another live stream maybe on Wednesday or something. I can show you guys some of the stuff we're working on for Blue. It's amazing how fast he can reset his audio. I'm just looking at the comments real quick. Yeah, I'm glad you guys joined us. Thank you for joining, and we'll do this again.
We will.
All right. Thank you, Brian. See you later.
See you.